Alright, hello and welcome back everybody. Happy Sunday. I don't know why I just did that. I see that, or I just remembered that I put out an almost 9 minute video yesterday. Uh, yeah, the life of being a co-parent. Good few times a week we're constantly going back and forth. My poor kiddos, they live between two cities basically, but anyways. I mean, we're, yeah, so. Enough doxing myself. I mean, and also, like I've said before, by the time you see these videos, the majority of you, they'll already be in high school. So it won't even be an issue. But I don't know. I like to think we live in a pretty safe community. Northern Colorado is unique. Colorado in general is unique. We got legal weed and shrooms, yet we arrest like everybody and put everybody in jail and prison. So yeah, it's interesting. It's not my favorite way to do things, but oh, also I tucked one way up there, and since these are stairs, that actually works. Even though it looks like it shouldn't be able to open. In fact, let's go ahead and just do a dump of all these because I did a lot of mining of diorite, so I could continue work on the Acropolis. I don't know. We'll have to think of a name for that thing. Oh, I can't even see it very well from here. Oh wait, I guess that is it. It's got the double trees there. Ooh, I don't think that was there yesterday. Ah, actually, yeah, let's go check it out. In fact, let's take a bunch of the stuff up there. Hey, kid. 3 rows of stairs and I just fall off. Happy Sunday, everybody. So I wanted to make sure that I did this. I'm going to do some Fortnite today because there's been a lot of really cool stuff going on there with Greco-Roman stuff. I want to say it's mostly Greek, but the Romans, like, I think the Romans were actually more responsible for the Parthenon because I think the Parthenon is actually, like, in Rome. I don't know. It's been so long since I've, like, studied any of that. And I got decent grades and all that, but then once you, like, if you don't use it, you tend to lose it. Wait, where are the rest of my torches? There's some sticks. Mm, there's some torches and then a lot of sticks. So actually, yeah, we'll just be okay with that. And take all these. I really need to organize all this stuff, but such is life. I mean, that's adulting is one big list of things that I need to do, things that I've done, and how good am I doing on getting those things done? Especially when you become a parent. Then it's like you have to do certain things. Like you can procrastinate on a lot of things, and there will be a bunch of trial and error in life where you'll find out what works for you. Whew. Like I just had to run to the store because I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm missing this and this. I can live without that. But then it's like I'm missing the majority of the food that my kids eat all the week. So I'm like, no, we can't go without that. So I mean, my kids are pretty resourceful too. Like they'll begrudgingly, make amend or make things work, but they're very resourceful. But I'm teaching them to be even better at thinking ahead of time, planning, 10 steps ahead, and just making sure that you don't run into problems. Like, if you have just a little bit of effort and a little bit of time, and I got a great example of this, putting the parking permit on my car, my new used car. Um, it's still pretty new. But anyways, I often ask myself if I'm like debating on whether I want to do something like a little chore or something. Like first I'll ask myself like, like how long is it going to take? I try to talk myself into it. And like just now I got back from the store, which was a madhouse. Like grocery stores on the weekend are just a bad idea. It's better to go in like late at night when like only the night people and the druggies are out. Nah, I'm just kidding. Like the more younger type of people, I guess I could say. Because they're usually doing other things like going to college or working or dealing with whatever, and then they're like, oh yeah, I can go do that. Whereas the majority of the middle to older age people, which I'm actually getting more into the middle age now, but and that's fine. Such is life. But they tend to go more during the day when it's like the warmest out or the least issues, and which is unfortunate because that's kind of scary. Like getting a bunch of old people and like they're going and trying to do all this stuff at the more dangerous like time to do it. Oh no! It's like did it just freeze? Okay. Again, I am still fascinated with our technology, but at the same time, it will still have issues and fail. Let's see. Well, let's go. All right, so actually, what we need to do is we need to gather supplies for books, item frames. So let's go ahead and do that. A bunch of sticks, lots of sticks. We need leather, leather. There we go. Wheat would be good. We could go gather up some leather real quick. In fact, let's build these into sticks, because I didn't really... Oh, and item frames. Okay. So I wanted to start putting knowledge stuff up there. Oh, I also... Yeah, very random. I was watching The Book of Life with my kiddos last night. It's a really good movie. It was about, well, cheating. You know, people trying to win a contest or a bet, and these two. I don't want to give too much spoilers, but in fact, that might even be too much spoilers. But it's a great movie. It's more Hispanic, like inclined, I'd say, like leaning more Hispanic, which is great. I mean, that is a huge part of our history. Like both Spain from like the colonies and everything, like the only reason we're more like British and English is because our colonies were from Britain, whereas just a little bit south, you know, you had Spain doing a bunch of colonization and taking a bunch of gold. Like there's a bunch of sketchiness. All of human history is sketchy if you really look at it with like an unbiased as you can get of a lens. I mean, wait. Oh, sorry. I thought that was my backpack. I was like, I thought I could make. Then I definitely could have made more, but now I can make more item frames. Um, we need books. And I'm starting to think it's good I have these four that we can make into books. Let's see, and maybe even doing something with this. Actually, this might be. This is the idea of um, the four different main divisions. Like this is just what I learned in a high school career success class. Was there's four different types of personality you can be. You can be assertive, which is win-win, passive aggressive, which is lose-lose, which means you'll be overly polite and let other people lose, but then at the same time, or no, you'll let other people win before you, or you'll put others before you, but then you'll try to get one up or get even with them, so then you actually wrong them somehow. So it's a lose-lose. Everybody loses. And then there's just like aggressive, and then there's, you know, but the main two to be aware of, because I feel like there's really only the two. There's like passive aggressive, because passive is a very slippery slope to become passive aggressive, because it's a human nature to try to live in balance and be like, well, it's only fair that if, you know, this person went first, then, oh, I'm going to go first this other time. And then that, it accidentally ripples out. And that's like the interesting thing about human behavior is it's a bunch of accidental evil is the way I like to call it. Like, you know, people often they don't know, especially with driving too, and being like just having traveled to a bunch of different countries in the last few years. Like, because my new job it requires a lot of travel, and seeing how people drive and how people treat each other, and like it's ridiculous. And then but also, it's really cool to see that like everybody is the same. Like people are people, no matter where you go. Like I have just as normal of a conversation with somebody, you know, from Malaysia, Thailand, like India. See, there you go, aggressive. So that's aggressive. So this would be passive aggressive. I didn't necessarily put these in the correct. Where's assertive? Is this assertive? Whoops. Passive, passive, lose, lose. Okay, so no, that's the. So wait, passive, passive. Did I do this? Shoot, shoot. Passive aggressive. So lose, lose, this, and then this is aggressive, and this will be assertive. No. What? Assertive, win-win. Respect for myself and respect for you. Yeah, I think this should actually go here. And then this one, aggressive, which this is just I need to win all the time. And the reason that it's not like it's not clear cut like that, I should say. Like this is just like the general guidelines and people tend to act in one of these areas depending. Okay, you know what? We're actually just going to do that. We need a new book. Don't I have a bunch of... Let's get the ink. Let's get feathers. Wait, that's a book. Is this one being used? Suggested media list. Well, I mean, that's good. Let's go ahead and take that. Oh, there's a ton of books, so never mind. Definitely don't need... Oops. Okay. Alright, so we got the books. We need... Take more ink and feathers. We can at least make 7 brand new ones. We've got plenty of item frames. Okay. So really, the one... Wizard living is supreme. Let's actually go ahead and do that. Let's make a book and quill. Just one for now. Okay. So, mm, assertive versus passive aggressive, because those are like the two extremes, passive aggressive, and they're easily representative by a couple phrases like win win, lose lose, passive aggressive. And really, this is where everybody tries to be. How it's just based on your experiences. Like how often, let's see, let's try to summarize this. And like everyone tries and would like to be, whoops, tries and would, oh, women. And heman. Just a simple thing. It would fix so much stuff. Would and themin. Easy. Everyone tries and would be assertive if allowed. Past experiences shape how likely I was doing so good. How likely someone will act to either extreme as well as how much of each extreme. I'm trying to think, I mean, there's many different like difficult ways to explain that, but basically like yeah, it's the magnitude of the behavior in that direction. And we'll get to this in a sec, like other factors that would also contribute to this as well as how much. There you go. And then other factors like hangry, because that's just a perfect word for it. Like, and it's real. Like when we start, like, it's like, how dare you sit there and talk to me like this for so long when my body needs food? And that's basically what your body is telling you. Is like, are you freaking kidding me with this right now? Like, you're sitting here watching this video when you could be eating a food or a snack. I mean, hopefully you are eating while watching these, if you know. I mean, I'm eating and drinking, but hold on. Try not to drink like right in the mic, but I don't know, it's hard because you got the headset and everything. But anyways, other factors like hangry are very real because like let's see, hangry and any other friction. You could have just lost a loved one, any other friction, you know, or you could have just lost your job or your house or now. And this is why, and we'll get into the main reason I wanted to make a video today is like going towards that global government. Let's see, friction and any other friction. Okay, so there's that. So assertive versus passive aggressive, and let's actually go ahead and just be that done for now. And wizard living is supreme. We've got the four horsemen of behaviors, which I don't even know if I agree with that, but it's just a way to think about it because getting that out there and in the open, like, okay, you know, I'm more likely to just let somebody walk over me, and they might not even know that they're walking all over you. I mean, and that goes into the whole. Let's go ahead and do this while we're talking. Like, how likely are they to have people treat them different ways? Like, you know, more attractive people get a lot more handed to them. Now, also, it's easier to be more attractive when you have more comforts in your life, and it's generally easier to make yourself presentable to society. And it's a horrible basis, and nobody would really, admit to being proud of like doing that, but we all do it. Like, I mean, and there's been psychological studies where people will have like a beautiful person, and that's why I love social media and like TikTok and stuff because they have that like Darman, I think a lot does that, and like just make you think. But more attractive people have it easier. I mean, on average, like you're more likely to treat somebody nicely, and in that very first like couple of seconds when you're doing all the nonverbal communication of, okay, I'm processing, like, okay, this person wants to talk to me, what's going on? I might take a quick assessment of the surrounding area, like, is there some like danger or, and then you got to scan how they're doing, like what is their nonverbal language, and law enforcement is especially good at this, but people watchers and people, we all kind of tend to get that way as we grow wiser and stuff. But it's important, and it's also not important, or it's also important to not overdo an analysis. Like if you see that somebody's like agitated, I mean, you handle them with kid gloves, but don't overdo it. Be like, well, I can see you're in a pissy mood, so you're gonna be a handful. Like, no, that does nobody any good. So what it is just be like, if anything, you're constantly kicking the can down the road. Buy yourself some time, take a breath, look at him, and be like, okay, so what's the deal here? If I could size this up, and then be willing to change that analysis. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people don't realize to do and that's how you get racism and prejudices, because it's how things are. Like, I mean, if someone's more likely to do X, Y, and Z, you're going to act accordingly around them. I mean, and it's unfortunate that that is that way. What was I watching the other day? Like Crash or Collide or something, but it's got Ludacris in it. And Ludacris doesn't do a lot of movies. And it's a very beautiful movie. Sandra Bullock's in it. It's all about racism and stereotypes and judging people, and all of the problems that happen from it. Go out and see that movie. I don't care. I mean, that's spoilers too. Like it's a great. But the point is like a lot of bad things happen because people didn't take the time to really analyze the situation, take a minute to calm down and woosah. Like one, I will say this. Like one character goes and buys a gun in the heat of passion. Like, and that's one of our problems in America. Is like it's really easy to get a gun, and it's really easy to act out of emotion and not in rationality and logic. Like, I mean, you're reacting to a situation, and and especially, and again, like a lot of factors will contribute to either magnifying or shrinking the significance of that emotion and that behavior in that setting. Like, it's all relative. I mean, it all fits together in what's going to happen. I mean, your chances of, I don't, getting into a fight with somebody, shooting somebody, getting shot, like, okay, that's a bit extreme, but not really. And let's look at the wealthy versus the unwealthy, even projected or real. Anybody who has a stable home with two parents in the household regularly. I mean, and that's the American dream. Although if you really look at it, like I've heard this way more than, oh yeah, no, both my parents are at home, they're happy, like everything's good. Like, I mean, really, I mean, there's all sorts of different things. Like normal is overrated. I've heard that like way more. I mean, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. People do what works for them. Like I'm currently not even in a relationship and happy because of it. Not like to say that, just think I just need some time to like, figure my life out, get some things together. So, ugh. In fact, the idea of dating gives me like anxiety. I was like, nah, I don't. I've already done a lot of it. So I'm gonna show up half-assed to. Anyways, let's get back to the wealthy and my not favorite example because I voted for the guy and I'm gonna vote for him again, but Biden and his son. Like, that is the exact, what is it, diagamy or whatever. Like that's the duality of the prince and the pauper. Like if there was video evidence of anybody else doing illegal drugs and partaking in adult work with consenting adults, but for money, which is illegal, highly illegal, um, anybody else but a senator's son and now president's son would be in, oh wait, and then I wanted the audio clip of Joe Biden saying 5 years in prison. They can take your house, they can take your car, they can take everything. And it's like we wonder why we're in the situation we are. It's the war on drugs. And whether or not you ever use a substance in your life, it directly affects you because the people around you, like they all have somebody that's in jail or prison, or or not. I mean, and the reason that is because if you aren't wealthy and you have a nice big house and you have a family of support and and even then there's a big chance that you'll use a bunch of substances for like other reasons, but um no, you'll end up taking shortcuts. A lot of people take shortcuts through alcohol or drugs, and to feel that happy that they think that the American dream is supposed to be, when in reality everybody is slightly miserable and everybody is slightly happy. It just depends on your perspective. I mean, and we're constantly improving things. And I guess that's the biggest optimistic thing that I need to put in there is because we are working as a global collective now. I mean, some are still slow to catch on, but when we're getting ever closer to that global government too, where we are all people. We all control all of us, and we all agree on what's best for all of us. I mean, and it sounds scary. A new world order, like that was like a whole thing, and like everybody wants to rule the world. That old '80s song, and like so the idea is out there that we are cautious about too much power in the hands of one person. But this is why, actually, we're gonna go ahead and we need lots of cows. We have a wait. Do we have a lot of wheat? Yeah, we got plenty for now. Okay. I mean, this is extremely messed up. Like, this is total puppy mill. Like, these are not. I'm only doing this stuff because this is a digital game. It's not. It's like Grand Theft Auto. Like, I would never dream of jumping into a car and like holding someone at gunpoint. No. In fact, I know a guy that did some stuff like that. And he's in prison for like 30 years. So, and he stole a couple cars, led the cops on a chase, all over some like old coins or something, I think it was. But under it all, it was acts of desperation in a time where he was already in a bad place for, I think it was substances. Like, I don't know. It was something stupid like that. But we put people in prison and like lock them up and treat them like animals because they're trying to take those shortcuts in life that the wealthy don't even need to worry about. They're fine. I mean, they still do it a lot. Like, there's a lot of substance use. I mean, look at the Trump White House. They were getting like a whole pharmacy, like, and that's like why that's so important. People keep blasting that all over XApp is because, like, they got a record of like what the leaders were doing. Like, these are supposed to be like the smartest, the most successful, like the best and the brightest, like the most trustworthy or whatever. They're the best that we got. We put them up on that pedestal, and they're in there doing drugs like crazy. Like they do drugs to wake up, they do drugs to go to sleep. Like and they have the cushiest life. They make millions of dollars. And I'm talking like Trump himself. And like I know he didn't take a salary, but if you calculated how much money, I've read a few articles about this, like estimating how much money he made off of being president. Like even just with Saudi Arabia. Again, I have a lot of friends in Saudi Arabia. I respect them a lot, and like I want to see them change too. Like all of us together. That's part of that global mindset. But like the golfing thing. He had a golfing tournament and like all this money and investment, and his son-in-law got 2 billion. Like that just, if that doesn't just straight smooth piss you off, like I don't know what to do for you. $2 billion? What did he do? Like, you know, like holy cow. 2 billion. You could build a house for almost every one of your citizens. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, and we need to get better about how efficient. And that's one thing that Saudi Arabia is championing in right now. They're building that like mega city to like allow a lot of their citizens to live lives of luxury in an efficient way. Like they're being smart, and they do have some nice mountains and like green areas and stuff, but it is mostly still desert over there. I mean, I've seen pictures of all sorts of places and like and cold. I mean, my buddies gave me this like nice, really warm coat because sometimes it gets really, really cold over there. I don't know, but, like, anyways, um, sorry, all of that is just to say, like, if you don't know people from that area, it's really easy to believe that everything over there is just a desert. They're just a bunch of sand people like the Tuscan Raiders. And just dehumanize people that don't live in America. It's really easy, and we're not doing it on purpose. It's just you only have so much time to process things, and then you process them in a certain way. And if you don't regularly think about these types of things, then it's not going to be on your radar. And that brings me directly to the point of this whole episode. Where are we at in this one? Almost done with it. We need to ensure this is diversity, inclusion, equity, and all that, the DEIB stuff, which is very important. But I mean, at the same time, in moderation too. Like I can see both sides of the argument. Like, um, people getting placed in places just because of a demographic or whatever. But as far as politics go, we need to have it that way. We need to have at least, I don't know, just throwing numbers out there, 25% to 50% of Congress should be from the lower class. Because otherwise, they're out there trying to solve problems and vote in the interest of not the average person. And we wonder why we keep getting wealth, inequality, and the gap is growing wider and wider. We've got multi-billionaires, and then we've got, people that can barely eat, like they don't have these safety nets like wealthy families do. And that's one thing that we need to do. We need to come together as a society and build those safety nets. Build them ourselves, Screw government and screw or sorry, this is going to turn edited really fast, but forget the government. I mean, we're not going to do anything illegal. We're not going to do anything to get us in trouble. But at the same time, like the Fed drives me crazy. It's like the Fed guesses, like throwing out Powerball lotto numbers. Oh, the percents are going to be this, and the percents are this, and it's like, yeah, okay. So if we got a bunch of movie stars, actors, the Foo Funds idea, got them to donate to charity that is self-sustaining. It's a fund, a trust fund that people can donate into, and they can request a loan from. And yeah, I'm still working out the kinks, and I'm going to start approaching people. Probably the creators of South Park, because you know what? If anybody would solve the world's problems, it's those two guys. A couple of stoners out of Colorado. I love them. One's Jewish too. That's really important because I dated this beautiful half Jewish chick. She had her mom was Jewish and her dad was, I think, skeptical Christian, kind of like raised Christian but didn't really care now. Kind of like me. Like I'm a skeptical Christian. I grew up believing it. I don't really care now. I mean, I'd much rather see people succeed with or without a God. I mean, we got to trust that if there's a creator up there watching, they're not judging us that hard. They're like, oh, wow, phew, you jaywalked. Like, how dare you? While there's people out there like causing all these crimes and killing and maiming and all this, like, nah. The focus is going to be on that. I'm just going to throw a wild guess out there. But, anyways, but government. I mean, wow, we just went all over the place, but I don't even know where I was going with that. The ideas that Matt Stone and Trey Parker have come up with. And yeah, very anti Semitic episodes. Like, if you cannot take a joke, they are very offensive. Like, even if you can take a joke, there's some episodes where you're like, oof, ugh, I don't know about that. But, it's all in good fun. In fact, that's why they put a disclaimer in front of everyone. And I was thinking about doing that with these. Like, putting up a disclaimer, like, this is all hypothetical, whether it happens or not, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how I want to organize this. Because it could be like, hmm. It used to be more visual, because otherwise it's just like walking through well, I guess it's a library. Like, already this looks really cool. I mean, it'll be even cooler when these sprout. But yeah, and like last time I was up here, well, I want to say there's definitely not as many double trees. I planted them all. They're all planted. Also, this reminds me of something I saw in Spain. I went to Malaga. Um, Malaga? Yeah, Malaga, I think is how they pronounce it. But and they had buildings that had just water, like irrigation ditches, but like cut all etched like this in these like open courtyard areas. And then over in Malaysia, in Penang, I was in a mafia house and I was in a very similar room, almost identical. You walk outside, you get a little bit of nature, but you were surrounded by walls, like buildings. So it was like a private outdoor area. And then, yeah, it's amazing because people are people. All right, anyways. Whew. Yeah, we're almost done. Jeez. Well, we got this supplies. We got this. I might switch over to some Fortnite, but I wanted to make sure we could at least start like documenting this stuff. But that's basically it. Just like, in fact, let's put that in the musings, because these are musings. There's a time and place for everything called, and then no taxation without representation. That goes right to the front of all my stuff. No taxation without representation. And if you were born or raised in America, you know that phrase very well. No taxation without representation. That's how we got our independence from England. Like, they paid for all the representative Sean. Okay. No taxation without representation. And then space dash require. Oh, there's the alarm. Yep. Require 50% of gov. Please have one more line. Be low class. There we go. And the importance of that is because in America is horribly, horribly afflicted with this. Now, we have a great country. I love my country, and I trust the process. But why not? Why don't we have representation from the low? It's like that president, I think, in Uruguay or Paraguay or Uruguay. I don't know how you pronounce him, but he's the poor president. He only made so much money. He donated most of his salary to the people. I mean, one is also for self-preservation, probably, because if you're the wealthy person, everybody's struggling around you. It doesn't look good. But it's just that idea of our government, the people that are in control of what goes on, are not an equal representation of the actual people they're controlling. So that leads to potential blind spots and corner cases where, oh, I didn't even think that was an issue, or I didn't know it was that bad. And so instead, and we're all trying to do it. Like you see the politicians going and campaigning, going and talking to people, going to open houses, but okay, that means that they have to think about how to explain their problem, bring it in a nice cookie cutter, like, on a platter for you at the town hall, and present it and not get booed and not, fall on deaf ears. So, and that's why we're kind of getting better at how we can communicate things. And I spend a lot of time on the X app. I still subscribe. That's one of the few things I do, the luxuries that I do invest in, because it is an investment, is communicating these ideas. It's basically distributed social engineering in a positive aspect. It's a meme that goes viral, basically. Memes and tweets and posts and all that. And XApp really needs its own tweet. It's equivalent because posts, that could be a Facebook post, that could be an Instagram post. Like, I don't know. But basically, we are kind of figuring it out. And we are coming together to discuss these things, which are making better questions during the election process. But even then, the only people we get to choose from come from wealthy families, except for AOC. She was a bartender, so that tells me that, okay, she was working. She was trying to put herself through college. Now, I'd still like to see how much money is in her family to be like, okay, yeah, that's still not a great example. However, it's a heck of a lot better than everybody else in Congress that had to go to law school. First, you have to be able to afford law school. And in order to go to law school, you have to be able to do an undergrad somewhere because law school is like a master's. It's like so you have to get a base education in a college or university, and then it takes a ton of money, and that's a ton of debt owed to people. So most of these families are already bought and paid for when they're going into this stuff. So, anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead and chop that one. I might do some Fortnite. Yeah, we're getting pretty lengthy here, but wanted to make sure we got that out today. And like I did tell that one person, I'm gonna go back. Sorry, not to put people on Front Street, but someone commented like, "You need to change the title," and I agree. They are not very descriptive. It's just Minecraft musings and the date. But that's one of my mending projects. And now that I got my USBs formatted, I got all my videos offloaded off of the PlayStation. I can record these without having to worry about running out of space. Still need to keep it within about a half hour so it's not insane on the receiving end. But still, you can pause, restart, and most of this is going to be chopped up into shorts anyway. But I will go back and make better better titles because you're right. They are dog water right now. It's just a date. So, ta ta for now. I will see you all in the next one.